Christianity is not a religion. Christianity is a relationship. It's an intimate relationship between the Father and His children, between the Creator and the creation. Christianity is not an empty set of rules that we have to follow. It's not a lifestyle, a religious lifestyle that we have to live by. No, Christianity is an intimacy between God and the creation, what He has created, between God and us. You cannot claim to be a Christian and not know God at the same time. You cannot claim to be a Christian and not walk in a continual relationship with the Creator, our God. We see that God has created Adam and Eve, both of them. He has created in the beginning, not for empty set of rules to live by. He created them for a specific purpose. He created them to have a relationship with them. He created them to have a conversation with them, to talk with them and them talk with Him. He created them for an intimate knowing. And the first time that I've ever heard this truth being spoken, it shocked me to realize that God desires to have a relationship with me. It is not that I'm not just supposed to live by a certain set of rules, but that I can have an intimate relationship with God. It was a shocking truth for me, a shocking revelation. It was told to me by a missionary. He was taking me to a Navajo reservation, and along the way he was asking me several questions. And one of the questions, the first question he asked me was, Yannick, what do you think is the meaning of life? I told him, well, I think the meaning of life is bringing people into salvation, telling them about the gospel, all these sets of things, just pretty much bringing salvation to the people. And he looked at me and he said, no, that is not the meaning of life. He said, why do you think God created Adam and Eve? What do you think was their meaning of life? And I didn't know the answer, and he told me. He said, He created them for one specific purpose, to have a conversation with them. And he told me, remember when it says that God came down in the cool of the day? That phrase is telling us that God has been doing this all along, and it's speaking about it in such a natural way, as if it's a daily thing that He has been doing. God created us from the very beginning to have an intimate relationship with Him, to know Him, not just to know about Him, but to know Him personally. Like I said, you cannot claim to be a Christian and not know God at the same time. Recently, I've been asked this question. So, are you a doubting Christian? Are you having struggles with doubts about your faith, your salvation, about God's existence? I looked at the person asking and I said, I have not doubted the existence of God and neither my salvation for a long time. And he looked at me kind of shocked and he said, why? And I told him the following. Let's say that I've never met you before and somebody came up to me and told me that such and such a person exists. And I heard a lot about you, but I never personally met you. I can have a lot of doubts that you exist because all I'm hearing is people telling me about you. But I've never met you personally, so there isn't an assurance of your existence. And I told him, up until the point that I've actually met you, I've never knew that you really existed. I could have doubted it all along. The same thing happened with me. I've met God personally, and I cannot deny that He does not exist. I came into contact with the Creator, and therefore, after meeting Him, I know for myself that He exists. And I cannot doubt it because I met Him personally. Not only have I met Him personally once, it's a daily, ongoing relationship that I'm having with my Father. How can I doubt it when I clearly see that He exists? And he looked at me kind of shocked. But that's exactly how our lives are supposed to be. People can come up to you and ask you, does God actually exist? And we can come up with a lot of scientific reasons, scientific evidence, explanations as to why God must exist. But the most correct answer is, to prove the existence of God, you must meet Him personally. Because He is not just a theory that you can prove putting up a whole bunch of logical explanations. He is a personhood. He is a personality. He is someone who we must meet personally. And the most correct answer to lead someone to actually believe in the existence of God is to lead them to actually know God for themselves. Christianity is a loving relationship between the Creator and the creation, the children and the Father.